All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're breaking down 5 high-income skills you can apparently learn in just 90 days. We're pulling all this from some really interesting insights by Richard Yu.
So let's just jump right into it, right? This quote from him, it just hits home. The traditional path, it just doesn't work the same way anymore. I mean, how many of us feel that? It's like the rule book for a successful career got thrown out the window.
And look, this isn't just some vague feeling. The numbers are pretty stark. We're talking about more than half, 50% of millennials and Gen Z struggling paycheck to paycheck. So yeah, you can see why people are starting to seriously question that whole go to college, get a good job formula.
Okay, so that really sets the stage for our first big idea here. The path we were all told to follow, it seems to be broken. Let's dig into why a college degree isn't the golden ticket to an online income anymore.
You know, the person behind this whole idea, he actually shares his own story. He went to a great school, UCLA, got the degree and everything. But then he looked at it and thought, what did I actually learn that helps me make money online today? And that's a question a ton of graduates are asking themselves right now. So, okay, if the old way is broken, then what's the fix? What's the alternative? Well, that brings us to the core idea we're going to unpack, the high-income skill solution. All right, so here's the big idea. Forget about trying to build an entire empire from scratch. That's a huge lift. The solution here is to become a specialist, to master one specific skill so well that you become indispensable to businesses that are already out there. You become the secret weapon they can't afford to lose.
And here's why this is so powerful, right? You can learn these skills fast. We're talking 90 days or less. You don't need to go into debt for a 4-year degree, and you don't even have to start your own company. Plus, and this is a big one, they're basically recession-proof, because businesses always need these things to stay afloat.
All right, you ready? Let's get into the skills themselves. The first two are all about content, which is pretty much the engine that drives the entire internet at this point.
First up is something you see a million times a day, short-form video editing. We're talking about those little 30 to 45-second clips on TikTok and Instagram. But here's the thing you have to understand. They aren't just for fun. For businesses, these little videos are powerful tools to drive traffic and ultimately make sales.
And this is the secret sauce right here. It's a whole funnel. You see a quick, catchy video on TikTok, it goes viral. Step 1. Then, because you're curious, you go search for them on YouTube. Step 2. And that's where they hit you with the real offer. The course, the product, whatever it is. It's a brilliant 3-step process.
Okay, skill number 2 is social media copywriting. Basically, you become the voice for an influencer or a business. You know that creator you love? Chances are they're not sitting there typing out every single tweet, email, or video script. They're busy. They hire someone to take their ideas, maybe from a quick voice note, and turn them into perfect posts.
And let me tell you, the demand for this is insane. Business owners are literally desperate for good writers. And look at the potential here. You can start out making a couple thousand a month, but a really good copywriter, we're talking $5,000 to $10,000 a month. That's serious money. All right, let's talk about the third skill. Now, this one's a bit of a curveball. It's not technical at all, but it's maybe the most important one. It's the foundation that makes everything else work. Let me just ask you this and be honest. When was the last time you had 2 or 3 hours of just pure, uninterrupted focus? No phone, no notifications, no distractions. It's hard, right? That's the crisis we're all living in. And this isn't just a feeling. The science is pretty clear. All those constant interruptions, they can kill your productivity by up to 40%. Think about that. That means in a 10-hour day, you might only be getting 6 hours of real work done. The rest is just lost to distraction.
So what this really means is that high performance isn't about grinding 16-hour days. No way. It's about efficiency. It's about mastering your own focus so you can get twice as much done in the same amount of time. That's the real superpower.
Okay, so we've covered content and focus. Now let's talk about money. The next 2 skills are all about sales, how you turn all that attention into actual income, especially in that huge online course world. I love this analogy he uses. It's like the gold rush. Sure, some people found gold, but you know who really got rich? The people selling the shovels and pickaxes. In the world of online courses, these next 2 skills are how you sell the shovels. So, how do you sell the shovels? It's a 1-2 punch. First, you have the remote setter. Their job is to message potential customers online and just book a call. Simple. Then, the remote closer gets on that call and actually closes the deal for a high-priced product, like a course.
The setter gets a small commission, but the closer? They get the big 10% cut. We're talking a path to $15,000, $20,000 a month or more.
So there you have it, 5 really powerful skills. But hang on, because the final takeaway, the most important part of this whole thing, is not to go out and try to learn all 5.
No, seriously. This is the biggest mistake people make. They try to learn a little bit of editing, a little bit of copywriting, a little bit of sales, and they end up being mediocre at everything. The real key here is to pick one thing and go deep. In fact, there's a great acronym for it, FOCUS. It stands for Follow One Course Until Successful. That's the whole philosophy. Pick a lane, stick with it, don't get distracted by the next shiny object, just go all in. And so that really leaves just one question for you to think about. Looking at these options, which one skill are you going to choose to master? What's the one thing you're going to become truly exceptional at? That's it for this explainer.